Hello YouTubers and fellow Whovians, and welcome to another Doctor Who review by me, James Croft, aka the Obsessed Whovian 95. Let's take a look at The Girl Who Died. So, this episode stars Maisie Williams in the title role. It guest stars Maisie Williams, right? And there was a big fuss before this episode came out. Oh, Maisie Williams is going to be in Doctor Who. Da 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 da. Oh, what character she's going to be? Oh, is she going to be Susan? Is she going to be the Doctor's daughter, Jenny? Is she going to be another incarnation of River Song? Is she going to be the Rani? Oh, it could be the Master. It could be a young version of Missy. Come on, people. We know that isn't the case. Maisie Williams' character is in fact a completely new character. She purely got overhyped because she was in some other show called Game of Thrones or whatever that's called. I don't know. Anyway, she plays a character called Ashildr. That's it, really. And what happens in The Girl Who Died, basically, after something goes wrong, Clara's in space in the same old spacesuit we've all known and loved since Series 2. I've pointed out before, they keep using the same thing all the time. You get that orange spacesuit from Sanctuary Space 6 coming back again, she's in it. And basically, there's something going on, something inside her suit. The Doctor rescues her. End up back in the TARDIS. TARDIS materialises around her. The TARDIS ends up going to the Viking times. So we've ended up in a periodical story again, a historical story. And we've not had one of these type of stories since Robot of Sherwood, if I'm correct. And basically what happens is they get captured by these so-called Vikings, albeit with some historical inaccuracies. I don't know how they went wrong with that, whether it was the writing or the BBC costume department. But BBC seems to do some good period dramas, so I don't know what they got wrong here. Quite baffling. They get captured by the Vikings. The Doctor's sonic, I nearly said screwdriver, is sunglasses are destroyed very, very quickly, and then what happens after that is basically we're introduced to the main villain of the story, Odin in the sky. You get that whole thing with Odin in the sky, and I just thought, what the hell's going on here? Come on, this isn't happening, is it? This isn't Doctor Who. It looked like something out of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It was just a bit out of place for me, in my opinion. And I just thought, what the hell? And not really much happens in this story, to be quite honest with you. We get these aliens called the Mire. They look really cool, and it's happened quite a few times in Doctor Who. You get a cool alien, not much is known about them, and not much is done with them by the end of the story. They're just a bit useless, to be honest. I just feel that the Mire are a bit useless. They're just underused, and they're just there to get defeated at the end of the story. And that's how it is at the end of the story, really. Odin gets defeated, but in turn gets defeated, costing Ashildr's life. Ashildr being played by Maisie Williams. And To be honest, it was overhyped because Maisie Williams' character hardly did anything in this particular episode of Doctor Who. She turns up again in The Woman Who Lived, but I'll go into that. It's just, I don't know. It's just a bit stupid. It's kind of like a publicity stunt by the BBC. Oh yes, Maisie Williams is in Doctor Who. Did you know that Williams is in Doctor Who? Hey, Maisie Williams is in Doctor Who. Why don't you tune into Doctor Who to see Games of Thrones star making a guest appearance in Doctor Who? Oh yeah, did I mention Maisie Williams is in this story? It honestly got overhyped to death. And, you know, I've no problem with Maisie Williams as an actress. I think she is a good actress. I really do think she's a good actress. It really shows, especially in The Woman Who Lived. But in this one, she doesn't get much to do. The character is just a bit boring. We all know a bit about her. Oh, she's a Viking girl. And she has a good relationship with her father. At the end of it, she dies. Boo-hoo. All these aliens get defeated by electric eels, which is a bit ridiculous, in my opinion. And at the end, we get that whole gag about Benny Hill. We actually hear the Benny Hill theme tune in Doctor Who, which is something I never even thought we'd ever get to that. I don't know. In my opinion, this seems like an episode written for another Doctor, like the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith's Doctor. It just didn't feel like a Peter Capaldi episode, and his lines of dialogue didn't really feel like his Doctor. But then again, I loved all the stuff with the yo-yo. They brought the yo-yo back again, which is always a brilliant thing because, you know, the yo-yo is an integral part of Doctor Who. The Fourth Doctor used it quite a bit during his time. So it's quite nice that 12 uses a yo-yo. It's a nice nod to the Fourth Doctor. Capaldi's Doctor, I think, he's a blend of Doctors. More of the classic Doctors. I don't think he has any of the personality traits as, say, any of the new series Doctors. I feel like Capaldi is more like a classic series Doctor as opposed to a new series Doctor. And he's the most classic Doctor we've had so far since the series came back in 2005, and it really shows. Capaldi is magnificent, by the way. I've said it before, I'll say it again. He's one of the best Doctors. He is really high up in my rankings of the Doctors now. He really is good, and he does a good job with this, even though this particular episode, The Girl Who Died, isn't all that good. So, this episode is co-written by Jamie Mathieson and Stephen Moffat. Mathieson wrote 2 stories from Series 8. He wrote Mummy on the Orient Express and Flatline, the 2 best stories out of Series 8, in my personal opinion. Sorry, TJ Productions. If you're watching this, TJ Productions, I know that you're not exactly a fan of Flatline. That's fair enough. I can see your point, but I personally loved that episode. I just thought it was brilliant. It was nice and inventive. But here, I really do feel that, I don't know whether it's Mathieson or Moffat, but I just thought that the writing wasn't all that great for this particular episode. All the lines of dialogue and things. Clara gets a little bit to do in this story, and I wouldn't say she gets an awful lot to do compared to what she does in Under the Lake and Before the Flood, which was just brilliant. I love that story to bits. It's absolutely brilliant. Both of those are perfection. They're some of the best Doctor Who you'll ever see. A modern classic, in my opinion. I hope it does become a modern classic anyway. And I just feel that Clara, all she does really, she's just there again. It's kind of weird how she's getting used in this series, I feel. But I think, hands down, the highlight of this episode is the callback to the fires of Pompeii, when the 12th Doctor realises where he got this face from, and it comes to the realisation he knows where he got the face from. It's Caecilius from the fires of Pompeii. We get a nice flashback to David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, which is always really nice to see the 10th Doctor come back because he is just brilliant. We also get a glimpse of Donna, and yeah, it's a nice callback. It brings back really good memories of Series 4, because the Fires of Pompeii is an absolutely brilliant episode, in my opinion. So it's great that we've got a callback to the episode in this, because I thought if he mentions it eventually about, oh, I've seen this face before, I didn't actually think that we would be getting a flashback, but they went to the full length of getting the flashback. I presume that was to do with Stephen Moffat, because it's kind of like an overarching theme that's going on here. But really good. I'm in favour of it. I really liked it. I really liked the scene. But again, it's that line, I'm the Doctor and I save people. Capaldi is just great in this scene, but I just feel that that particular dialogue is a bit, I don't know, I'm just not so sure about it. So you're meaning to tell me that in nearly 52 years since this show started, that the Doctor saves people? Well, thank you very much, Jamie Mathieson and Stephen Moffat, for letting me know that. I didn't really know that. Thank you very much. Of course, the big conclusion about this is, of course, yeah, Ashildr's died. Doctor is all upset about it. Oh, I want to save people. And he gets this little stone chip thing. Well, I don't know. And he just puts it into her head and she becomes immortal. And I'm a bit confused by this, because why save her when there's been many people throughout the show's history who have died, who you could have saved, and yet you save someone who you've just met. But I suppose it's probably because he recognises her. And you get that through Capaldi's episode. You get the feeling that the Doctor actually recognises Ashildr, so he must know that she's important. But she becomes immortal, and that's pretty much the end of this episode. That is the so-called cliffhanger. Overall, the girl who died as an episode, I don't think it's all that great, but I don't think it's bad. There's some great parts, but there's some ridiculous parts as well, and I feel that the villain is very weak. I feel that the Mire were a very weak, underused villain. They had great potential, they just got underused. The cast all around are okay. I feel that it's an alright episode, and I'm probably going to give this a 6 out of 10. So now for The Woman Who Lived. The following episode from The Girl Who Died sees the return of Ashildr, and we are now in the 1700s. Yet again, it's another historical, and Ashildr is a highwayman. Now again, there's not really that much to talk about with this episode. The writer for this has never written for Doctor Who before. She's written some Torchwood episodes. Her name is Catherine Tregenna, if I'm pronouncing that name right. And how'll she do, in my opinion? If you want me to be honest, I don't think she does that good, to be honest. It's not really a good first time attempt for Doctor Who, in my opinion. The whole outline of this episode goes that you've got the highwayman, who is played by Maisie Williams, same character who we saw in the last episode. A few centuries have passed now, so I think she's accepted that she's become immortal now. And one thing that's really stupid is, she's learned how to speak like a man, and it's just, no, didn't work for me, that. A bit stupid. The Doctor is on his own as well. There's no Clara in this episode until the very end, which is quite bizarre. So it's a very Clara light episode, a companion light episode, and I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest. If Clara's not going to be in these episodes, then she might as well not be in the show at all. That's my honest opinion. She should have been with the Doctor in this story. The companion for this story is kind of Ashildr. I say kind of. She's not a companion, but she kind of is. She's the second star of this show, and Maisie Williams has a lot to do in this episode, more so than she did in her first one, The Girl Who Died. And in my opinion, she does a good job. I think that she pulls off the character well, she understands the character, but in the end, the plot doesn't really do her that much justice, in my opinion. She feels that she wants to go and travel in time and space with the Doctor. She doesn't want to live through a life like this, an endless life. She just lives through all these historical events. I like how the Doctor mentions that the Great Fire of London is coming up. The pterodactyls will be responsible for it. A nice reference to The Visitation, because in that story you get these aliens called pterodactyls, and they indirectly cause the Great Fire of London. So it's nice that they've referenced that story. I really love when they do that. The supporting characters are pants, in my opinion. We get this lion person, which kind of reminds me of that alien race that was from Warrior's Gate, but I don't think they're connected in any way, but it's just crap, in my opinion. The alien in this is crap. The threat is crap. Even more so than the threat in The Girl Who Died, in my opinion, because I wasn't overly keen on the whole Odin thing. Although parts of it made sense, got a little bit of knowledge about them, the Mire and everything. But in this, just a generic Doctor Who villain, really. Looks like a cat, looks like a lion, and at the end of it all, just does absolutely bugger all. Might as well not have appeared in the story. It might as well have just been the Doctor and Maisie Williams saving the universe, because that's how it felt to me. This is more of a character piece of an episode. Now, I really like the character development in this. I think that the interaction between Ashildr and the Doctor are easily the highlight of the episode. I really do. It's just all the other stuff. The alien threat is shit. The supporting characters are shit. Russell Hound's character. Wow. I think we've just found one of the most annoying Doctor Who characters of all time. He gives a stand-up speech just before he's about to get executed. And what happens? Oh. He gets this life force drained out of him, and then this rift opens in the sky. I know, it just felt rushed in my opinion, and I don't know, just somewhat confused about it really. It's very forgettable. I've watched it a couple of times. It's just forgettable in my opinion. It really is. Which is a shame, because this episode was one of the most overhyped of the whole series, because once again, Maisie Williams is in it. But at the end of it all, I was just like, well, what's all the overhype about? And I don't know. I just felt that the whole episode was kind of pointless, really. It was just more of a character piece. And while that can be good, depending on the circumstances of what the story is trying to tackle, I feel that on this particular occasion, it didn't really work for me. And by the end of it all, I just didn't really give a shit, to be honest. And I never say this, I hate to say this, I love Doctor Who to bits. You should all know that, because I've made tons and tons of videos about this programme. But in this episode, quite honestly, I was bored. I got bored. I was ready for the episode to finish. I really got bored. And the fact that Rufus Hound's character becomes immortal at the end of this, I was just done with this episode. I just thought it was crap. It's easily one of Capaldi's weakest episodes, in my opinion. I wouldn't say it is his weakest. I'd say that his weakest, the title for that would probably go to In the Forest of the Night, because that story was just bizarre, wasn't it? The whole forest thing. But anyhow, the rating I'm going to give for The Woman Who Lived is going to be a 5 out of 10. It's not terrible, but it's not good. It just exists, in my opinion, and I think it will be one that some fans may have to skip over when they buy the box set for Series 9. Oh yeah, and don't get me started over the ending either. That's stupid. That final line when the Doctor says to Clara in the TARDIS, "Oh, don't want to lose you," and all this stuff. We know that Clara leaves at the end of this series. We don't need to keep referring to it all the time. You know, we had enough of that in Series 7 when they kept referring to, in every episode of that, up to the Angels Take Manhattan. Oh, Aya and Rory are going to be leaving, and there was just all of these foreshadowing points throughout these episodes. Didn't need it. Don't need a big fuss about it. Just make a fuss about it when you actually get to that story, when the companion leaves, or when a doctor leaves. Don't need to drag it out all the time. It just really bugs me. So yeah, bit of a moany review, I know, but The Woman Who Lived didn't really do that much for me, and one of the weakest episodes, in my opinion. So sorry about that if you expected a positive review, but sometimes we have these types of episodes. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned next time. Bye for now. Don't forget to click the link below to subscribe to me, James Croft, aka the Obsesstuvian 95. Have a great day.